Hey guys, Sifu Nick here from the Extreme Training Academy. I'm here with a good friend and coach, Alex Embry. Alex, give us your contact information up front here so that way if anybody wants to get a hold of him.
Best way to get a hold of me is our club's Facebook page, Alpha BJJ, and our coming soon website that we have for the new club. We're kicking off January 1st. We're in a big build up to that. Is alphajujitsu.com.
Awesome, and I'll make sure that I put all of his information down low. Recently, I've been working with some of the guys over in my studio, and obviously we're JKD guys, and Jiu-Jitsu is a element of what we do, right? I mean, the grappling portion of it, you don't learn how to grapple from karate.
Right.
You learn it from Jiu-Jitsu, right? The best guys out there, you want to learn it from them. And one of the things that I've been talking to them about is the importance of learning gi-style Jiu-Jitsu, okay? And, you know, I've talked to other Jiu-Jitsu practitioners and instructors as far as, you know, is it important to learn gi Jiu-Jitsu, especially with the JKD mindset of being street applicable, okay?
Right.
And you get some colorful answers, to say the least. I've even asked other JKD instructors what their thoughts were, okay? And basically, between Professor Roy Harris and yourself, you guys share the same sentiment as far as learning Jiu-Jitsu or gi-style Jiu-Jitsu, okay? And have kind of indoctrinated that into me and shown me why, which is important, because you could say it, if you don't show it to me, I don't necessarily believe it.
Right.
So some of the guys at the studio have been asking, you know, is it important to learn gi-style Jiu-Jitsu for that practical use, meaning non-competitive, non-artistic, okay?
Right.
Tell me what your thoughts are.
Right, great question. We see it get glossed over a lot in favor of no gi. Everyone's like, well, I don't have a gi on in the street, I'm going to go straight to no gi. Aside from the fact that it's such a huge component, I know you want to talk about this from the JKD side of things.
Yeah.
I feel remiss if I don't talk about it slightly from the artistic side of things. I love the art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it's a huge art.
Yeah.
And it's so applicable for so many different things, but the core fundamentals of it come back to that gi. There's a lot to do with that gi. And there's a lot of training methodology you take away from that gi as it relates to the flow, as it relates to slowing down, taking the athleticism out of it. No gi, very, very athletic game. No gi, you can slow that down. You can really find your technique and perfect it. So that said about the actual pure jiu-jitsu, let's talk about it from a JKD mindset. Why should a JKD guy, or anyone for that matter, put a gi on and do jiu-jitsu? A couple things. The easy answer that I hear thrown out there all the time, and I'm sure you've heard it as well, we live in the Midwest. We have coats on 3 to 4 months out of the year. We've got sweatshirts and hoodies on another few months out of the year. You do have the options for those grips. There are chokes you can use there, and that's a reasonable argument. It's not necessarily the most insightful argument, but it's a reasonable argument. We wear jeans a lot. You know, I mean, there's grips there that are equitable to pant grips. So
Sure.
that's there. I think on a conceptual level, why it's important, it's because what it's training you to do, actually, it's very difficult. Like, let's say you want to train for pure self-defense. What does that entail? That entails preventing the takedown, or if you get taken down, getting off the bottom. Once you get off the bottom, maintaining position, striking, defending against strikes while you're trying to move around. Now, if you take your average practitioner who has a family, has a job, is concerned about self-defense, but let's face it, you know, isn't in a war zone every day, but it's a concern, how often is that person who has a professional job going to put 4-ounce MMA gloves, come out here on the mat, and grapple while he's getting lambasted in the face? Not very often. And don't get me wrong, that training's important. I think that training's even important occasionally in Jiu-Jitsu because we need to understand how that changes things. And it does change elements of it. However, it's hard to take the time, the repetition, and the punishment that training method deals out to learn how to get out from underneath someone whose hands are busy and stay on top of someone while your hands are busy. It's a different animal. If I'm just trying to stay on top of someone and I don't have to do anything with my hands, I can base out all day and it becomes very easy.
Right.
Conversely, I can maintain my safe position on the bottom if someone's mounted on me and I don't have a gi on. I can get my elbows tight, get my hands tight, and if we're no gi, they can work all day to pull that arm out, and it's going to be very difficult, and I don't have to work very hard. But how realistic is that as far as my escape goes or my postural control from the top goes? Now, we've already talked about how damaging it would be to wear 4-ounce gloves all the time and work on each other, but now I put the gi on. So what do I do when I'm on top now with the gi? If I'm maintaining top position, what am I learning to do at the top? Well, there's this collar around your neck, and now I'm extending a hand in, and then I'm looking for my other hand for my collar chokes. What do I have to do while I'm working for this collar choke on top? I have to maintain my balance because the guy on the bottom is looking to hip elbow escape, he's looking to bump, he's looking to work his way out. So while I'm doing this, I have to maintain my posture, and I have to accommodate. I have to work with my hands and be successful with my attacks and think through that process and relax enough to do it while he's trying to throw me off. Conversely, from the bottom, I can't just sit here in an unrealistic manner anymore. I have a guy opening my collar, trying to jam his hand in and trying to choke me. So I don't get to defend here anymore. What do I have to do? I have to control his hands. I have to move my hands. I have to move my head. I have to move my posture to defend that. So you're learning all those little things, your head movement, your hand, your grips, your body motion, your hips. How do I move? How do I work while someone's attacking me from on top? Now the bonus of this training method, not only is it effective, not only does it give you good tools in the chokes, not only is it great training and a lot of fun, it's teaching me that without taking all that trauma of getting pounded on night after night after night. You won't train that long you won't train that way very long. Professional fighters don't train that way every night that they come in. So it lets you build that skill set. It lets you build the understanding. Now, am I saying that totally supplants the need for putting gloves on and seeing how it works on the ground? No, I will never say that. However, it gives you a reliable training method that you can go back to over and over and over again, night after night, and not take the damage, not take the trauma, and quite frankly, not get sick of training because you're doing it that way.
So us JKD guys and a lot of the Wing Chun guys, and you and I have talked about this on off camera several times. One of the important things is to be able to occupy central line. I think the last time you and I talked about it was when, as you're helping me develop my open guard game,
Right.
And you're showing me how to constantly bring my legs in and when and where and why. It seems like it's kind of the same concept when you have the gi game, because you're grabbing lapel, you're grabbing collar, you're grabbing, the cuff of the sleeve, you're grabbing, something on the pant leg kind of thing. I mean, is that a fair assumption to say that, these are the, having this particular method, meaning, gi style training, is showing you how to get your hands involved and maintain that space, maintain that central line and being able to protect that particular line of attack?
I think it definitely does. I think the gi accentuates it. I think it's present in no-gi as well.
Sure.
I don't want to entirely shortcut no-gi just because it's not my thing. Doesn't mean it's not valid. Doesn't mean it's not important. But I think it really accentuates it because you're doing so many cross grips. The other thing it's teaching you as far as occupying it is how far can I go before I threaten this elbow? What are my bailout options if this hand gets stuck cross center? What am I going to do with my elbow to maintain control of that? So because of the way it teaches you to work and the submissions that are available to you to work, it really does teach you, almost intrinsically without even knowing it, control of that center line.
Right. So now you're in law enforcement for a living.
Yes.
Okay. And obviously Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is a love of yours. You do this for a passion. You teach as well. And but this is something that you really enjoy doing. And one of the things that almost anybody will turn around and ask you is, how does one relate back in the other? Now, more in specific, because we're talking about putting the gi on, in your lifestyle, you are constantly containing, controlling, restraining some subject. Did gi-style jiu-jitsu affect that particular moment for you when you had to take it out, into your lifestyle off of the mats?
100%. 100%. Aside from the training method of understanding this guy's trying to get away, and I'm busy at work trying to get my handcuffs out, I can't just think about getting my handcuffs out. I have to maintain control of this person too. So again, that's not that different from me trying to sink a cross collar choke. It's the same thing. I'm working a hand and I'm maintaining posture, right? Another thing it taught me, and I had this pointed out to me by Professor Harris, was it teaches you that this is okay. This is okay if I need to affect control. Maybe this is a great idea depending on where everything's at. So just that control of the cloth, even if I don't use that as a primary system of taking someone down, it's a great way to. It's a great option to have. And getting used to grabbing these, grabbing clothes and making use of them, more important than just grabbing them, because anyone can come up here and grab this, but knowing what to do with it and how I manipulate that, how do I use my body weight and my leverage against that cloth to affect a change in your body posture, entirely affected my work habits.
Okay.
No doubt.
So gi-style jiu-jitsu having a valid place in self-defense training, absolutely, yes?
Absolutely.
Agreed?
Absolutely.
Okay. Guys, that's Alex Embry. Make sure that you guys find him on Facebook at the Alpha BJJ.
Alpha BJJ on Facebook.
And
Yes.
his new website, which is going to be released by the time this video comes out, it might already be available, which is alphajujitsu.com. Okay, and I'll make sure that I put all of his contact information. Woodstock, Illinois, guys, make sure you guys come find Alex. Great guy, takes the time to explain stuff, and obviously somebody that I trust to help me develop my jiu-jitsu game. I'll see you guys in the next one.